In today's video, we are going to be making this really cute candy corn inspired shaker card using items that you already have in your stash. And it's such a fun card to make. Love all the sequins and just all the glittery pieces in there. So let's go ahead and get started on this really easy make. So to get started on our shaker card, you will need a treat bag. Now, the treat bag that I have has already been done in the sense that it has the piece of acetate right in the front. So part of the project has already been done for you. Now, if you don't have a treat bag like this or you can't find something similar, you can go to Dollar Tree, and in the party section, they have a pack of 8 in different colors, different designs, patterns. You can actually get a bunch of treat bags that you can kind of makeshift to do a similar type card if you don't already have the acetate in the front here. You will also need some cardstock. So I already have kind of the white and the orange going for the candy corn. So I just picked through my stash of lots of cardstock I have and got this kind of bright yellow. So this is just a Michaels piece of cardstock. You are also going to be needing a second piece of acetate. So as mentioned, if you don't have this acetate in the front, you can get creative and you can always buy the acetate, but acetate is very expensive. So this is a 6-pack from Michaels. I got it on clearance for $5, but original price is $12.99 for only 6 sheets. But what I like to do is anytime that I get a package and there's a nice piece of acetate right on the front, I save these. So I just cut it out and save the piece of acetate because it's really nice and you can use these for your shaker cards and it'll save you a lot more money in the long run versus buying a pack of acetate sheets. So that's just kind of a trick that I like to do. And then you will also be needing some glitters. So I just have an array of different glitters in the candy corn hues. Some foam tape you'll also need, as well as some double-sided tape. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so starting off with your treat bag. Now, I am basically going to take this apart. So as you can see here, there is a seam. So I'm going to carefully undo this so that we can just have the front for our card. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. It's easier if you just kind of start at the back and peel away. Just like that. And then once you get this part open, let's just peel this back part here. Okay. So now you have something like this. So you can just take this seam apart, or if you're nervous that it's going to rip, you can always just trim it. But I'm going to see if I can carefully undo it without tearing. The trick is to go really nice and slow so that you can get that done. But again, if you are nervous about tearing the front, you can always just cut that part off. Okay, so now we have our bag open. So I'm just going to cut this part off and cut the bottom off, and then we can save this for another project, but this is the part that we need. I'm going to also trim the card down to a better size for our shaker card that's more even. So I'm not really going to measure, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. So I think about right here is where I want to cut this top part off. So you can make this card as big as you like, but that's kind of the size that I'm going for. To create the candy corn stripes, I took some yellow cardstock and I cut it down into the strips that I need for this. So I kind of cut as many strips as I needed. Now with candy corn, it goes from yellow to orange to white. So I have orange, white. This one is going to be yellow. So we're gonna tape that down. And then we have orange, white. This part is going to be yellow. We have to cut this down a little bit just to account for the circle. And then orange, yellow, and then orange, and then this top part is going to be yellow. So that's kind of what we have right there. Perfect. So for this, I am just going to adhere these down, and then I'm going to trim around to create the circle. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to adhere some double-sided tape onto the card front itself. It's just going to be a lot easier to add the strips on. So I've already done that here, so I'm just going to go up the card and add my double-sided tape. Now that we have our yellow strips in place, what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and trim off the edges and give this a nice clean look. So we have it cut down to size now, and now I'm going to go in with some foam tape and place that right along all four edges to give ourselves a border so we can start filling in our card with the little goodies. And this is from Dollar Tree. You get 3 pieces and you get a 1/4 inch, 0.37, and a 1/2 inch as well. I think I might do the 1/4 inch size. So let's start with that. So before we pull back the foam tape, I'm going to go in with my acetate. And initially I was going to use this piece, but the thing is that it's very small. It's smaller than our actual piece. So you just want to keep that in mind, that if you are going to use a scrap piece of acetate, that it is the correct size for your project, because you want to make sure it is covering all 4 edges. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this from the back. Okay, so here is our piece, and I'm going to just cut this down to size. I'm even going to go ahead and just use these parts that are on the side here, because as long as it doesn't show through the project, we are good. So that way we don't waste anything. All right, so we have our sheet of acetate cut down to size, and this is going to be for the back. So basically we're creating a little container, if you will, for your sequins and other goodies that you put in your shaker card so that it doesn't get all over the place. Before we remove the foam tape, which I should have done before I added the foam tape, but that's okay, we'll roll with it. I am going to actually add some rub-on transfers, this Hooray for Halloween, onto the acetate itself. This is a pack from Dollar Tree last year. I love it because it's just so vintage, but I'm going to go ahead and take this little guy. Now these are really sticky rub-ons, so you have to be sure that where you're putting it down is exactly where you want to put it down. All right, so we're just going to take it and try to center it as best as you can. Okay, and then I'm going to take my wooden tool. I'm just going to burnish that on. Okay, there we go. Perfect, so that's how it looks. Love that. Now the cardstock that I'm going to be using is black, so the black on black, you can still kind of see it, but I want it to pop a little bit more. So once we add our acetate with all of our little goodies inside, I am going to glue this right on the back so that just pops a lot more, okay? So I'm going to set that aside, and that's just a scrap piece that we cut from our strips. And now comes the fun part of actually filling our goodies. So for that, I have my little tray of glitters that I pulled. So I have some from Michael's, from their Halloween collection this year. I have these from Dollar Tree, also from Dollar Tree, and then from Target Dollar Spot last year. And then from scrapbook.com, I have this candy corn confetti by Trinity Stamps. So I'm going to use a combination of this, and some stars. So let's go ahead and fill our sheet here and hopefully not make a mess. All right, so I'm just going to add a bunch on there. All right, next up, we are going to add some of this candy corn, sort of confetti. Now this one already has some stars, but kind of want to add some pumpkins in there. Why not? We'll add some big stars. I don't want to add any ghosts. Just kind of want to focus on the yellow and the oranges. Okay, and then we are going to use some of these stars. So I just want to add a few. Okay. This is a great deal for $1.25 at Dollar Tree. Okay, now I have all my goodies in place. So I am going to carefully, without making a mess, remove the foam tape adhesive. Okay, then we're going to take our piece of adhesive. All right, so once you have that completed, you're just going to turn it around and look at how fun that is. And you can add as little or as much sequins. I think more is more when it comes to the sequins and shaker cards because there's so many fun elements in there. So for the back, I am just going to take that scrap piece of yellow cardstock just to make sure that we can actually see the Hooray for Halloween. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach that real quick. Okay. So before I adhere the card front to our card base, I am going to distress the edges with a mixture of Distress inks and Distress oxide. So I'm going to do carved pumpkin and squeeze a lemonade. And I actually saw a video with Tim Holtz using the Distress oxides and inks, and he did mention that with the oxide, you don't want to mix these two together because the oxide will contaminate your inks. Just kind of keep that in mind when you are using these dyes and pigments. So I'm going to go in with my ink first. So I'm going to go in with some carved pumpkin. And I love using the Distress inks because it gives so much more depth to your projects. It just adds a little something, even if it's just going around the edges. It really does add a lot to your projects. All right. So now I am going to adhere this onto my card front. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. And last but not least, I am going to be using this really cute ribbon I had. I think I want to place that right in the corner there. Just going to go ahead and adhere that down with some tacky glue. And here is our finished card. So cute and so fun. I love how interactive it is. And again, you can add as many or as little sequins and glitter elements in there as you'd like. All right, so that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed making this card with me. I love it. I think it's so fun. And again, it's super simple and using all the scraps that you have already in your stash. So if you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell for notifications for more content to come. And I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.